Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Felicia. Thanks for that introduction. Hi, everybody. My name is McKenna, and I'm here with Silhouette America at our headquarters here in Utah. I see that some of you guys have your cameras turned on. I'm looking at the gallery view, so I can see you guys. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and turn your camera on so I can see you guys and we can interact and you can ask questions. This can just be a really fun class, like we are meeting in person. Even though we aren't in person, I'd love to see you guys' faces. So I want to know where you guys are from and if you're a Silhouette user. So in the chat, go ahead and tell me where you're from and if you already own a Silhouette machine, if you own another cutting machine. I just want to know. I'm curious. So go ahead and start dropping those in the chat. Thank you guys so much for turning your cameras on. It's so fun to see you guys. We have Beverly, Laverne, Eileen, Mary Jo. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so we have a Cameo 4 user, someone that doesn't own any cutting machines yet. So this is an awesome class for you. This is going to show you why the Silhouette machines are super awesome and will take your crafting to the next level. We have another Cameo for a Curio, Cameo 4, but you're intimidated by it. This class is for you. Let's see, who is that? That is, oh, wow, you guys are all pouring in the comments. Let's see. Shawnee. So this class is an intro to Silhouette class. So we're going to go over the basics, and after this class, you won't be as intimidated by your machine, I promise. All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Like I said, I'm McKenna, and I'm the marketing coordinator here at Silhouette America. So my main part of my job is that I get to run all of our social media channels. So I get to see all the awesome projects that you guys tag us in, but then I also get to teach these Zoom classes, which is one of my favorite things because I get to interact with you guys firsthand. And then I also get to write blog posts. So those are kind of the main things that I do. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It seems like our chat is already super active, which is what I want. I want to be able to answer you guys' questions. So drop them in the chat whenever you have them. I am the only one looking at the chat. We do have Kelly on here. She's one of our awesome other Silhouette teachers, so she'll be able to answer you guys' questions. And then if you have questions about the Zoom in specific, you can ask Felicia, like she said. And then I'll try and look at the chat as much as I can, and we'll just have a lot of fun. Okay, so to start out, if you don't have a Silhouette machine, a Silhouette is an electronic cutting machine, and it can do so many things. You can make paper projects, you can cut vinyl and heat transfer vinyl for fabric, you can cut fabric with like felt and make felt projects. So there's all kinds of different things you can do with it. It can cut out really detailed things, it can cut out really big things, and we're just going to show you a lot of the different possibilities that you can make. So to start out, let's go ahead and talk about our flagship machine, which is the Cameo 4. So this is our Cameo 4 machine. There's a few older models of the Cameo style, but this is our most up-to-date model. It came out a couple of years ago, and it is kind of our basic machine. This is what most of our users use. As you saw in the chat, a lot of people have the Cameo 4, and it comes in 3 different colors. It comes in pink, black, and white, and a couple other limited edition colors that have come out across time that you might have seen different places, but those are the classic colors. And it can cut 12 inches with a mat. Our mat cuts 12-inch paper, 12-inch vinyl, and then it can also cut matless any vinyl that you might have. So it can be any brand, any color, even any size, and I'll kind of show you guys how that works. But so it's a super awesome machine. It's our most versatile machine, meaning it can do the most things. So this is the Cameo 4. And then does anybody have any questions about the Cameo 4? Will there be any new colors in the future? So as of right now, we still are just planning on having these 3 colors, but always like limited editions aren't planned out super far in the future. So if we did make other colors, you would be able to see that on our social media or on our website. We would definitely make an announcement because we know that there is a demand for that. That being said, there are lots of fun covers, dust covers that people put on their Cameo 4 and the Portrait 3. And so you can buy the dust covers that come in lots of different colors. And I think we'll even probably be releasing more colors of dust covers in the next little while. So that's an option. And you can also, what I've seen other people do is they kind of cover this in vinyl. I've actually been wanting to do that on our own Cameo 4, and you can make a pop of color. You can put it on here. You can't put it on this side down low because that's your touchpad, which I'll show you guys how that works later. But that's an option for a pop of color too. Okay, all right, we have a lot of questions. So, will you have a class on how to use the program? So this class, if you continue watching, we will go into the Silhouette software and we'll show you guys the very basic tools that you need to know how to run the software. But we have so many other Zoom classes that we've partnered with Michaels on lots of different projects that you can find on their YouTube channel and also on our own YouTube channel and our own social media. There's all kinds of projects. Okay. All right, and then pricing wise, somebody asked the price of this machine. Let me show you guys on our website. So it's just silhouetteamerica.com, but you can also buy it from Michaels. I'm actually going to show you on the Michaels website to get the exact pricing. So I'm just going to I came to michaels.com and I'm just going to type in Cameo 4. Oh, I got to start my screen share. You guys can't see that. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to type in Cameo 4. That's what the machine is called. And then you can see it right here. So this is our Pro machine. You can get a coupon right now. So this is the Cameo 4 that I'm showing you guys right now, and it's $299.99. So that is the pricing for the Cameo 4. And then somebody asked what kind of computer is best to start. So you can use any kind of computer with our machines, but it does need to be a laptop or a desktop computer. So you can't use like an iPad or a tablet, but you just need to make sure it's an actual computer. But we don't necessarily have a brand we suggest more than others. We know our users use all computers across the board. As you get into more complex projects, you might want a computer with a stronger processor, but especially when you're starting out, you can do just a simple generic computer. And yes, Kitty's right, a Chromebook doesn't work with it. So just any classic laptop or desktop computer. And then this class is free. Somebody asked about pricing of the class. This class is free and a lot of our other classes are free. We'll talk about the end because we are offering a premium class at the end of the month, which is an advanced class. But if you're a beginner, all of our beginner classes are being offered for free. Oh, Kelly put in the minimum system requirements. So if you have specific questions, go ahead and check that out in the chat. Okay, awesome. So it looks like that's kind of as far as we're going to go with the Cameo 4 right now. This machine, like I said, can make all kinds of projects. I'm pretty sure we use the Cameo 4 to make these pink flowers back here. It has a lot of space capability. So you can make pretty large things with the Cameo 4. And not only does it have a 12-inch width, but it can cut up to about 60 feet in vinyl. I'm pretty sure that's the amount that can cut. So you can just keep feeding it through your roll of vinyl and you can make an extra large sign. I don't know if anybody would actually use 60 feet of vinyl. That would be a really, really big sign. But it can just keep feeding through with the roll feeder. And I'm going to show you guys how that works. If Brian, could you hand me a roll of vinyl? So this is the built-in roll feeder that comes with the Cameo 4. And so as you guys, let me just push this in and then I'll pull it back out. So this is just regular 12-inch vinyl that we have. It's the glossy, it looks like it. So what I'm going to show you guys is that when you want to cut matless with this machine, you just pull out this drawer and everything kind of clicks into place. You can kind of hear it, but you can feel it even more when you're actually doing it. And then you just open it up like that. You pop up these tabs. The camera probably isn't at the right angle for you guys to see this, but it has a 9-inch mark and a 12-inch mark because we do sell 9-inch vinyl here at Silhouette that goes specifically with the portrait machine, but you can use it in the Cameo 4 machine. So how you do this is you just, this locks into place. I'll show you that you just kind of slide it and then it just kind of clicks. And that's how you know that it's where it's supposed to be. You just pop in your roll of vinyl and you feed it through the bar right here. You line it up with the gray arrow on the side, and then I need to move this little knob to the outside. So it'll pick up my vinyl, and then I'm just gonna load it in like that. And I actually didn't get it loaded straight because I need to move this a little more. There we go. And this is something that you might not do if you're a new beginner, but it is something helpful to know about the Silhouette Cameo 4 because it can cut any brand of vinyl matless, which I know is unique to Silhouette, and it's an awesome feature. So we're not going to cut anything matless today, but I wanted to show you guys that awesome feature. So I'm going to unload that. And then it looks like we might have another question. Somebody asked, what is the best vinyl to use with this machine? They're all, like I said, you can use any brand of vinyl on this machine. We sell vinyl on our website. Michael's has so much vinyl. This is glossy. There's specific settings for any type of vinyl, any finish, whether it's matte, glossy, glitter, anything like that. And the Silhouette software will show you guys how that works. So you can really use any vinyl that you want. This is just, I think this is the Oracal vinyl. So we really like that. But this is the Cameo 4. One last thing I wanted to show you is this is the Tool 1 holder. This is a common question that we get asked, so I just wanted to go over it. So this is your auto blade, or if you were using a manual blade, you would also put it in this tool, or in this tool slot, which is a 1. And the auto blade actually has a number 1 on it that's kind of like embossed on it. You can see it. And that just goes in here when you're putting the blade in. You push it all the way down, and then it'll do 2 little clicks. And then this is the second tool carriage, which allows for a stronger, it has more power and it moves a little bit more. And this is for specialty tools. So right here, I have our craft blade, which cuts thicker materials. It can cut craft foam, leather, things like that. So it just needs a little bit more, especially the leather needs a little bit more power to cut through than the auto blade doesn't allow. And so this is the craft blade, and then you would pop that in there. And I want to show you guys the other tools that we have. Well, these are only 2 of them. I didn't have all of them, but this is the rotary blade, which you can use to cut fabric. I love to cut felt. That's my favorite kind of project to make. So I use the rotary blade, and you just pop it in here. And you don't have to take this out either. You just select in the software which tool you're going to be cutting with. And then this is the punch tool, which is used for vinyl and heat transfer projects. So those are 3 different projects, 3 different tools that you can use for different types of projects, just showing the versatility of the Cameo 4. So let's go back to our questions. So someone said they thought they had a Cameo 4, but it doesn't look like mine. So where can they find out which Cameo they have? So you very well might have an older model of the Cameo. We have a couple different ones. So this is the most recent one, like I said, but the Cameo 3 was right before that, and it does look a little bit different. But you can go on our website, and we have the information for the different Cameos. And also on our social media, we share older models all the time. So it's probably a Cameo 3, might be a Cameo 2, but I don't think it would be old enough for a Cameo 1. So that's that about the different models, but all of our models still cut really awesome. I know, like, being someone that runs the social media, I get to see that they use all kinds of different models, and people are still using their original Cameo and their Cameo 1, so they last a really long time. Someone said that they didn't know about the blade compartment. So this is a really fun little trick that people don't know about. It's just a little blade storage compartment, but it is kind of a secret. I actually posted about it on our social media a couple months ago, and I was surprised how many people didn't know about it. So it's a fun little storage compartment. Okay. And then a lot of people are asking about comparison videos to the Cameo 4 and other cutting machines. And while we can't offer those specific comparison videos here at Silhouette, there are so many of affiliates for both companies and all companies that have made really awesome comparison videos that compare and contrast the 2 different products. And we really like the video by Persialoo, or Silhouette School has lots of awesome videos. Kelly Wayment, I think she has some videos, I'm not sure, but there's so many videos you can find on YouTube specifically asking those questions. So go ahead and check that out. And then someone asked, do you need a connection to the Cameo to the PC during a cut? So one thing that's awesome about the Cameo 4 specifically is that it's a Bluetooth machine. So this button over here, you just press, you press it, and it turns blue, and that means it's discoverable by Bluetooth. So if your computer has Bluetooth, you can use the Bluetooth for the Cameo 4, but you can also manually plug it in with a plug. And the older models require a plug also. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the Portrait 3, but keep putting your questions in the comments. I'm going to step back here for the Portrait 3, so I won't be able to see the questions for a few minutes, but I'll step right back up to my computer. So this is the Portrait 3 model. It's our smaller model that cuts 9 inches in width, so it can cut 9-inch vinyl, and it cuts 8.5 by 11 material, which is any letter size material. So 8.5 by 11 paper, sticker paper. Most of our specialty media is 8.5 by 11. So this is an awesome product for print and cut. This is what most people use the Portrait 3 for. I love the Portrait 3 for print and cut. I don't ever have any issues when I use it for print and cut. The registration marks almost always work, which I love. I very rarely have had any issues with it, which I know print and cut is really important. The margins are incredible. It cuts right next to your sticker or whatever you're cutting your design. And this one is also Bluetooth compatible. This one's not plugged in, but if it was, when it's turned on, this has a green light right here. And then when I want to use Bluetooth, I just press this blue button and the Bluetooth will go. It's pretty straightforward. This is the load. This is the unload. It does have a pause button. And I just think this model is really, really accessible. When I'm here in the office, yeah, this is what it looks like closed. So it's really cute. It's really compact. When I'm here in the office, and I'm doing a project like a print and cut project with 8.5 by 11 paper, or any project with 8.5 by 11 paper, I always grab the Portrait because it's just easy to use. It doesn't take as much space on my desk. So if you don't have a huge crafting room, I highly recommend the Portrait. It doesn't have the second carriage, so it doesn't cut as many materials, but it still cuts a lot of what our crafters need. And if you are making stickers, this is very popular for stickers. A lot of our small business owners use the Portrait 3, so it's a super awesome project for that. And it's pretty fast. I think it cuts pretty fast. It's not insanely loud, which I like about it. And it's just a really easy and fast little machine. So that's the Portrait 3, and it's super awesome. Like I said, I think it's super great if you're using it around your house. Like, people use the machines to put labels on their kitchen or to make just little projects. I know some like designers even take them to their clients' houses, and that's what the Portrait 3 is great for. It fits in a backpack. One of the Zoom classes that I did, I actually brought in my backpack, and I showed how the Portrait 3 and the cord fit great into your backpack, and you slide your laptop in there and you're totally ready to go. So that's one thing that I love about the Portrait 3. Okay. All right, so that's the Portrait 3. It does basically all of the same things that the Cameo does, aside from the second carriage. So it doesn't have the extra tools, but aside from that, it cuts paper, it cuts sticker paper, it cuts specialty medias like window cling material or tattoo paper or things like that. And then it also cuts vinyl and heat transfer. And we sell 9-inch vinyl and heat transfer here at Silhouette. Can you grab one of those rolls for me, Brian? Thank you. So this is something that's unique to our machine, is we realized that people were buying the Portrait 3 machine, and we didn't want them to be cutting down their 12-inch vinyl to fit inside their machine, because you can also cut matless with the Portrait 3. And so we created 9-inch vinyl, which can still be used in your Cameo, but it can also be used in the Portrait 3, just matless. You don't have to do anything for it. There's not a roll feeder. So I usually, when I'm cutting matless with the Portrait 3, I just kind of keep my hands close by. I don't even have to be touching it, but just close by in case something goes wrong. But that's something that's super awesome about the Portrait 3, and we sell the 9-inch vinyl on our website, and it's super easy to use. So we love using vinyl and heat transfer. We know that a lot of our customers are using that, and it's something easy to use. That's our project that we're going to be doing today, and it's just super simple. So we're going to go on to the Cameo Pro, which I'm sure most of you guys know about. If you've been in Michael's, you've probably seen the Cameo Pro, and it's the largest cutting machine on the market, so it's kind of hard to miss. But this is the Cameo Pro. It cuts up to 24 inches in length, and it's about 36 inches long. So it's the biggest cutting machine on the market. You do need kind of a special space if you're going to be using it, just because it's so big. I'm just going to push these to the side so you guys can see it. And this has all the same capabilities as the Cameo 4. So this is what it looks like when you lay it out. When you open it, it also has the second carriage right here. And then you just plug it in the same. It has the Bluetooth. This one's not plugged in, so you can't see the buttons down here, but it has the Bluetooth capabilities. It cuts felt, fabric. It can use all of the second tool items, so it's really, really easy to use. The only thing is that it's bigger, and we understand that our crafters wanted to make bigger projects, which is why we created the Cameo 4. But aside from that, we also understood that some people are just cutting a lot of the same thing. So whether you're a small business owner that's maybe making stickers, or you're making vinyl die cuts or vinyl cuts for vinyl decals, that's the word I'm thinking of. You can make it bigger, but you can also just make more. And that's kind of the thought process that we had with the Cameo Pro. I'm not going to set it up right now since we're not going to be using it today, but with the Cameo Pro, it does have a specific setup that comes with a few different pieces that you lay out in front of the Cameo Pro, whether you are doing vinyl, it has a roll feeder option, or if you're doing just paper. I've used poster board with our mat, and it just stabilizes it. So I'm actually going to grab one of the Cameo Pro mats to show you just how large it is. The mat is 24 by 24 inches, and it works super awesome. Like I said, I've been cutting poster board with it, and it's really nice to use. So this is the Cameo Pro mat. So it's pretty big, but you could cut so many things on it. Like imagine just the different pieces that you could cut, how many pieces you could cut. So this is the Cameo Pro mat. It's super awesome. I saw in the comment section that a couple people have the Cameo Pro. So thank you guys so much for listening to that. And I just want to show you, this is the Cameo mat. We do have a 12-inch by 24-inch Cameo mat, so you can cut longer, but this is kind of the standard size that everybody uses when they use the Cameo. And I did see that somebody asked about cutting fabric with interfacing on it, and I need to correct myself because that is possible with the auto blade, with just the regular blade. The auto blade or one of the manual blades with the portrait, or even the Cameo if you don't have the rotary blade. So that is possible. So thank you guys so much for pointing that out. We have lots of Cameo Pro fans. So thank you guys so much. We love it so much. We're super excited about it. It's been hard to keep in stock because so many of our crafters have wanted to buy it and they've been using it, and we love seeing it. So, all right, so let's see. Does anybody have any more questions? I know Kelly's doing a great job. This class is super active, which I really, really like. So we're going to go ahead and hop onto kind of like the computer side of this class now. So I'm going to show you where to download the software if you're a new Silhouette user. And then also we're going to open the software. I'm going to show you some very basic tools. And then we're also going to show you the Silhouette Design Store. So let's go ahead and start my screen share. So this is the Michaels website where we were. Oh, let me just give you the prices for the other machines. So the Cameo Pro is $499.99. And then I need to move my little Zoom window over here. Okay, and then, so there's the black Cameo 4 that I was talking about. And then there's the pink. So Michaels carries all 3 colors, which is super awesome. And you can buy mats at Michaels. You can buy the rotary blade that I was talking about, or the other carriage 2 tools. Lots of adapters, and obviously auto blades, which we can never have enough auto blades. And then I'm just going to show you guys the Portrait 3 on their website. All right, so there's the Portrait 3, and it is $199.99. So they're all really great cutting machines. No matter what your budget is, I think you won't go wrong with any of the 3. Obviously, they're 3 very different machines, and they're very different in budget themselves. But if you're on the lower side, I highly recommend the Portrait 3. I love the Portrait 3, and I have a Cameo 4 at home, but whenever I'm here at the office, I always use the Portrait 3. So We're going to go ahead now and go to silhouetteamerica.com. And this is where I'm going to show you guys how to download the software. So after you purchase your Silhouette machine from Michaels, you will need to download the software on your own device. So this is what the homepage of our website looks like. There is shop for other like machines and things like that. There's products, which is more products and things, and then there's software, and then there's also a customer support tab. If you need help, you can chat with our customer support or email us in, and then we're going to go to the software today, and then I'm going to go to get software. All right, and then these are all of the different softwares that you can use. The basic software is Silhouette Studio, and this is what you're going to be using with the 3 cutting machines that I just showed you. The other softwares are for our 3D machine, our 3D printer, and then also our stamp maker, which is the Mint machine. It's really cute and tiny. And then Silhouette Go is the mobile application, and you can't currently design in the mobile application, but you can create your designs in your computer and then save them to your library and send them through an app on your phone or your tablet. Or you can use the Silhouette Go to just buy designs from the design store and send it to your machine. So that's a new thing that we just released last year. It's pretty new, but we really like it. And it does give you the capability to cut things without pulling out your computer all the way if you don't need to. So this is where you go to get the Silhouette Studio software. So you come here and then you just click more info. And I'm up to date on my software, but you just click right here, just download Silhouette Studio, and then you will select your different system requirement that or the different preference, the machine that you're using, the computer that you're using. But this is the basic of downloading the software. And then there are upgrades that you can purchase down the line. There's a Designer Edition Plus, and a Business Edition. What we're doing today is just everything's in the Basic Edition. So it's just the free version of the software, which you can do a lot of things. These different editions just offer you more tools. So you can look into purchasing those as time goes on. Some of our premium classes will use tools that can be found in these different editions, but especially if you're a beginner, I just recommend learning the basic edition, mastering the basic edition, and then just going and maybe thinking about buying one of the other versions. And those are a one-time payment. They're not a subscription or anything like that. You just buy them one time and then you have it forever. So that's where to get the software. And then before we open our software, I just want to show you guys the Silhouette Design Store. So if you're a beginner, I'm pretty new to Silhouette. I just started working here about a year ago, so I still consider myself to be a newbie. So this is the Silhouette Design Store, and if you're not interested in like creating your own designs or anything like that, there are thousands of designs on here. I think there's over 200,000 designs that you can pick from, and we have special artists that we work with. Karina Gardner is one of my favorites, but all of these artists are designing cut files all of the time that you can go in. You can search by holiday, you can search by subject, you can look for fonts. There's so many different things you can do. And one thing that I always like to do, and I like to show you if you are a Silhouette user, is we always have a free design of the week. So you come up here to deals and then you go to the free design. This week, it's this pumpkin wreath border, which is super cute, and I always download the free design. Even if I don't know what I'm going to use it for right now, I always download it because it's free, and I might use it down the road. So go ahead and grab that pumpkin wreath border while you can, and then we will be switching it out next Tuesday. We switch them out every Tuesday, and then there's just some other fun free designs. Sometimes we have fonts in there. Sometimes we have free with purchase designs. So anytime you buy something, before you check out, come to the free with purchase designs and you can add them to your cart and they'll be free as long as you are buying something else. And there's all kinds of different designs. So this is a basic class. We're not actually using anything from the Silhouette Design Store today. So in a future class, we will use designs from the Silhouette Design Store. But I just wanted to show you guys that know that it's there. It's a super awesome resource. I use it probably every day for the different projects that I'm doing. So then the last thing that I want to do with you guys is actually make our project. So I'm going to stop my screen share for a second and show you guys what we're going to be making today. It looks like we have a lot of questions, and Kelly has been doing an awesome job. She's a rock star. So keep putting your questions in. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those too. But now we're to the fun part of the class where I'm going to show you guys how this machine actually works. So I'm just taking this candle that I bought at Michael's just 2 days ago. It was in the fall section. I think it was even like 40% off because they're having a sale on all of their fall decorations right now. And it's a candle in a little pot, which I thought was really, really cute. And then we're just going to add a saying with the text tool in Silhouette Studio. I have a little scrap of black vinyl right here and a little scrap of transfer tape, and this project is going to be super easy. We've been going with this class at about 30 minutes and it's about an hour long. I think this project is only going to actually take me, if I wasn't teaching the class, it would only take me probably 5 to 10 minutes. But because I'm going to go slow and I want you guys' input on what we're going to put on here and everything I want to interact with you guys, it's going to take a little bit longer, but there's still going to be plenty of time for questions at the end. So I just want to show you guys how easy it can be to use your Silhouette machine and how quickly you can use your Silhouette machine. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to load my material. So this blue sheet comes with your mat. It just keeps it sticky. It keeps it protected from getting like dust particles on it and things like that. So I'm just going to peel that off and put it to the side. And then I'm going to load this little scrap of vinyl onto my mat. This is glossy vinyl, just so you guys know, the glossy black. 90% of the time when I'm using vinyl, I'm using black or white. So I just wanted to show you guys that it can be anything, any scrap of vinyl that you have. This isn't even cut into a perfect square. I'm going to be doing a rather small design, so I'm not really worried about making perfect edges or anything like that, but I just loaded it onto my mat, and then I'm just going to line the edge of my mat up with this gray arrow on the left hand side, and I just load it, and to load it I just press this button right there. Okay, all right, so our machine is loaded, and then I'm going to go, oh, somebody asked what side goes down. That's a good question. So if you're using vinyl, the back side sticks to the mat. So with this vinyl, it's a white backing, so I stick that to the mat. If you're using a heat transfer material, you do it the opposite because you're going to be weeding it backwards and then flipping it over. So vinyl is just right side up, normal, and then heat transfer is backwards. So that's a good question. Somebody asked if, so they said they want to put a logo on a t-shirt, and is that hard? That is actually really easy. You're pretty much going to follow the same process that we're doing here. You're just going to use heat transfer vinyl instead of just regular vinyl, and then you'll just have to use an iron to apply your logo. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and hop into our software. Okay. All right, so this is the icon, what it looks like. It just is our Silhouette logo, and it's called Silhouette Studio. I'm working on a couple different projects today, so I have a few tabs open, but this is just my basic setup. This is what it looks like when you open a new file. So I do have the upgraded edition. So one of the biggest thing with upgraded edition is you get way more shapes that you can use to design on your own. That's one of those paid upgrades, but we're just going to be using one of the shapes that comes with the basic edition right now, which is a circle, a rounded rectangle, a rectangle, and a pentagon, or a polygon, sorry, the image is a pentagon. But I want to know from you guys, we're kind of going to design this together as we go. So I don't want to do a polygon, but what do you guys think? Should we do a circle, a rounded rectangle, or a rectangle? So drop it in the chat what you guys think, and we'll just kind of design it together as we go. So I'll just take like the first few votes that come in. So put in the chat if you want to see a circle, rounded rectangle, or rectangle. All right, so far we have 1 vote for each. Okay, rounded rectangle, we have a few votes for that, so let's do that. So you just kind of need to measure your space that you have. I'm gonna do mine about 2 inches, I would say. Let me stop the screen share so I can show you guys how I decided to do that. So I don't have a ruler close by, but I just putting this on the side, and then your machine or your mat has different markings. It's like a ruler. So something that I like to do is I just kind of like to put the mat over the top of it and decide how big I want to do it. I think we can do it 3 inches wide and 1.5 inches tall. I think that would be a great size. So that's just a little trick that I like to do that makes it easier to not have one more thing on your craft table. So I have the rounded rectangle tool selected, and then I'm just going to click once and then click again. And I'm not worried about making it the exact size that I need to, because I'm going to be changing the size anyway. So I click the size, or I click the rectangle, and then I'm going to come up here to the width and the height, and then this is where I'm going to adjust it. So I want to make sure this little lock button is unlocked, and then I'm going to make this 1.5 inches tall and then 3 inches wide. And then after that, I am going to lock it because I want to keep that ratio even if I scaled it up or scaled it down. And something I like with the rounded rectangle is that I can change my roundedness of the corners. So it's kind of nice. I would say that the shape tool is one of the most basic tools in Silhouette Studio. You can really do whatever you want. I use it all the time when I'm making anything. I usually do a circle, I will say. So I'm excited that you guys chose a rounded rectangle. But so then what we're going to do is we are going to I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. Just so we can see it, I'm going to add text to it now. So this is the text tool down here, and I'm just going to type a phrase. So I'm going to decide between 2 phrases. I'm going to have you decide. So we can just say happy fall, or let's see, what's another fall phrase? We could say falling for you. So go ahead and put in the happy fall y'all we have. That's cute. I'm not going to do the y'all part, I don't think, because I just want it to fit in this small space. You could totally do it, but since we're just going really basic, hello fall. Let's do hello fall. I think that's cute. We're kind of going into the season, so thank you so much. I can't see, I know Paola said hello fall, and we have lots of other votes for that, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm in the text tool right here, and then I'm just going to click. You just click one time, and then you just type your text that you want. And right now it's in the default text, so it's not necessarily the font that you want or even the size that you want. So one thing that I like to do first is I'm just going to select it all. And then I have a bunch of fonts downloaded from the Silhouette Design Store. You can use any font that you have on your computer though, which is one of the best things about Silhouette Studio and the text tool. So I'm just going to move it over here because this is going to be my drop down menu. And then I can literally just click through these and roll through them and decide whatever I want. I kind of like a retro font. I think those are really, really fun. So I'm just going to go through. These are all the fonts that I just have on my computer. So these aren't all fonts that I bought from the design store. As you can see, a lot of them are even just regular fonts like Comic Sans or Cooper Black. They're things that you would already have on your computer, which I really like that Silhouette doesn't make you just buy all of their fonts. I think that's a super nice and awesome thing. So I really like this font. Oh no, that's a color font. Sorry, I was thinking of another one. Groovy Script, that's what I was thinking. So I think this is a super fun retro-y fall font. And this is actually the perfect opportunity to show you one more very helpful tool in Silhouette Studio. So as you can see, when I zoom in really, really close, the cut line of the A overlaps the cut line of the L. So if I were to just send this to Silhouette Studio like this to cut, it would put a cut right here and this piece would be gone. So what we need to do is we need to use the weld tool. And this is one of the tools that our followers and our customers use more than anything else. And I know that because you guys are always showing it to me on social media. So it's over here and it looks like this. It's in the modify panel. And so you're going to open this circle and square overlapping tool over here. And then you're just going to select this, and then you're going to select the weld tool. And what it does is it just eliminates those overlapping lines. As you can see now, we just have the two shapes, the hello and the fall. The F and the H are separate from the other ones, but it makes it just one shape that you're not going to have to worry about the little tiny pieces, transferring them on the transfer tape and things like that. So those are all of the tools that I'm going to show you guys in Silhouette Studio today. I think they're all very, very basic, and you can pretty much do whatever you want with those 3 tools. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to select all of those pieces and I'm just going to group them together. So let me show you the group button. So this is group and ungroup. So I just grouped them, so I'm going to ungroup them just to show you, and then this is the group button. So that's how you do that up here. And then hold down the shift key and drag, and then we can just put it inside of our rectangle. And I'm just going to drag it to the width that I want. And then I'm going to select both of my shapes by just drawing a rectangle over both of them. And then I'm going to use the center and align tool to just vertically center them and then horizontally center them. And it was already pretty much vertically and horizontally centered. So this is our design that we're doing. I'm just going to group both of them together now and then put it up in the corner where we already had our vinyl piece laid down and loaded into the mat. Does anybody have any questions about those? I'm going to go ahead and hop in the chat real quick. So someone asked, they have the Times New Roman font, but the results were too skinny. Is there a way to widen the font? So there's not necessarily a way to widen the actual makeup of the font. You'd probably just want to pick a different font, a thicker font. Okay. Yep, and then Laverne, like Kelly said, this is actually going to be pretty simple to weed, but obviously if you just are starting out, you could just do the rectangle or the circle or anything like that. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and hop in our send panel now. To send it to your machine, you're going to come up here to this upper right-hand corner. And we actually have a lot of machines in our office, so the Bluetooth doesn't always work. So I'm going to, it works, it just is hard to connect to it. So I'm going to connect with the cord, and then it detected my Cameo 4, so I'm just going to click yes. And then it's syncing the machine, which just happens a little when you turn it on. And as you can see up here, everything is outlined in red, which means that everything's going to cut. If I didn't want that to happen, I would just select the parts that I didn't want to cut and I would select no cut. But we're just cutting everything because this is a beginner project. And then we come up here and we're going to use the material selection to state what material we're using. So we are using vinyl glossy. And this is one of my favorite things about the AutoBlade specifically, is that it already has these predetermined settings, so I don't have to change the force or the speed. The one thing that I like to do is I like to cut my vinyl on a 2 blade depth. I've just found that that works better for me. So I like to do that, but you don't have to do that. You can totally try it on a 1 and see if it works. For a lot of people it does work, but I just noticed that every time I cut vinyl, I like to cut on a 2. And so this is all we have to do to set up our machine. Everything's ready to go now. So now all we have to do is press send at the bottom of the screen. And then I'll stop the screen share so you guys can actually see it working. So what happens is your AutoBlade will come to the side and it will automatically adjust to your blade setting, and then it will start cutting. So right now it adjusted to a 2, and now it's just cutting our design. Awesome. So one thing that I like to do when I finish my cut is I just like to take my silhouette hook tool, which looks like this, and I just like to make sure that it cuts. So I'm just going to pull the part that I'm not using. I'm just going to pull that away a little bit, and it looks like it cut super great. You guys will see when I pull it off. But to do that now, to weed it, I'm just going to unload it. And then I like to flip my mat over and just peel the backing away from the mat. It just makes it so you avoid as much curling as possible. And then since I used a scrap, I still want to save my other scraps. So I'm just going to cut my scrap down. You could always do this before you make your project. I wanted to kind of like make it with you guys as we went. So that's why I didn't just cut my scrap down to begin with, because I didn't know what you guys would want to do, if you wanted a circle or a rectangle or anything like that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to weed this project, and weeding just means to take away the parts that we're not going to be using. So we want the rectangle to show up, the rounded rectangle, because you guys chose that. So that means that we are going to need to take away the actual letters. Those are going to be like negative space, and the white pot will show through. So let me just move the pot so you guys can see. These pieces aren't that tiny. And when you cut your vinyl right, you just go slow, and they just weed out super easily. The trickiest part is going to be leaving those little tiny pieces of our letters. I know the back of the little tiny piece in the E stuck to the back of the vinyl. There we go. That is a very small little piece. There we go. Okay, so there's my hello. And you can see the little tiny pieces in the O actually stuck great to the transfer tape. And then we have our fall. And this project is really easy to weed. Some people really like weeding, and some people really hate it. I really like it. I think it's kind of fun, a little bit relaxing sometimes. And then what we're going to do now is we're just going to use the transfer tape to place our design onto our pot. So this is a bigger piece of transfer tape. I wasn't sure how much we were going to need, but we only need a tiny, tiny bit. So I just laid the transfer tape on top of my design to see how big it is. You do want it to cover the entire design, but you don't need like a huge overlap. And this is the Aura tape transfer tape, and it actually has a grid on it, which can help you cut straight lines. So if you're layering vinyl, or if you're putting it on something that absolutely has to be 100% straight, you can use the grid, and that's super nice. So to use transfer tape, I just cut my little piece, and then I bent the corner, and I'm just pulling the backing away from the vinyl. And then I'm just laying the transfer tape on top of my project, my vinyl, and then I'm going to use the Silhouette scraper tool to just rub out any bubbles that there might be. And then I'm going to turn it over. And sometimes we have to like bend the backing a little bit, especially with like bigger shapes. I just like to bend it and just kind of crease it as I go. And that usually works really great for the backing. And our little tiny piece stuck really nicely. And I just go slow. That's my biggest tip for any beginner to silhouette, is just go slow. You would way rather go slow and do it right than have it rip or something like that and have to do it again. But this is pretty easy. I don't know. I hope you guys aren't intimidated. I tried to go slow and show you just the really basics of the software. So now that we have this on the transfer tape, all that we're going to do is we're just going to lay it flat with both hands, just kind of straighten it out the best that you can. And then take your silhouette scraper tool and rub on top of it a few more times. And then go ahead and peel it away slowly again. Just going to turn it on its side so you guys can see. All right. Okay, guys, and that is the finished product. Looks like we're getting a few little air bubbles over here. So just rub those out with your fingers. And that is how it looks. Super easy, super simple. Like I said, I think that this project would actually be really, really fast if I was just making it without actually showing you guys how to make it. And like I said, I'm pretty new to Silhouette myself. I've been here about a year, and I love making the projects, but I would consider myself a beginner. One thing that I like to tell you too is that transfer tape is reusable. So you can always just save your backing and then just put your little scrap back on the transfer tape, and then you can put them in a scrap box. I noticed Michael's had some 12 by 12 rectangle boxes or square boxes that are great for vinyl scraps or paper or vinyl or heat transfer, anything like that, transfer tape. So that's a really awesome way to store your scraps. Okay. Awesome. Does anybody have any last questions? That's kind of the rest of our class, but we did want to leave a few minutes at the very end for some more questions. Looks like Kelly left a link to a Michael's class on using HTV. And that actually reminds me, somebody asked vinyl on a t-shirt, if you can use vinyl on a t-shirt. So you cannot use this vinyl on a t-shirt, but you can use heat transfer vinyl on a t-shirt. And at the end of this month, Kelly, who's been so awesome and sharing all of our answers with us and answering you guys' questions, she is teaching a premium class with Michael's. At the end of the month, it's on September 29th, the last Wednesday of the month. And she will be teaching how to put vinyl, heat transfer vinyl on a t-shirt. So that's kind of like the next level class. This is just a very easy plain vinyl class, but she will be teaching tons of tools that you guys can use in the Silhouette software. The class is $20. It's an hour long, and it is limited to the first 50 participants. So if you are interested in specifically learning how to layer vinyl on a t-shirt or put heat transfer vinyl on a t-shirt, you're going to want to sign up for the class. And she's an awesome teacher. She's so knowledgeable, as you guys can tell. And you guys will love that class. So go ahead and check that out. It's on their premium classes. And we'll keep posting about it on our Facebook page. We'll send out a newsletter about it just so you guys can know, because it is a few weeks away. But if you're interested in that, I just saw somebody asked about putting vinyl on a shirt. So that reminded me of that. Looks like Kelly just put the link in for the class. So if you're interested in that class, click that link and go ahead and sign up for that class. Okay, awesome. It doesn't look like we have any other questions. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We are going to keep doing this class once a month. So my name's McKenna, and I'll be teaching this class the first Wednesday of every month. This month was different because of Labor Day and everything like that. So, but in the coming future, it'll be the first Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is where we are. But we're going to just be talking about the Silhouette machines and keep doing super basic projects. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks.